Now what I'm going to try to figure out is the HID headlights. Actually, I'm not going to try to figure it out at all, because the Durango Hellcat originally came with full LED headlights, and I think what's going on is when the HID ballast tries to warm up, that initialization is causing a fault because the LEDs would normally just instantaneously be illuminated. So that HID ballast is causing an issue, and I don't think I could program it out of there. So I ended up getting a different set of headlights, which are in this box. And I think I like these a lot better than I thought I was going to, because I was like, well, I want to get something that's full LED, and then they make headlights that look like Durango Hellcat headlights. So we have, it fits perfectly with the car. So they're full LED headlights. I'll plug them in, and hopefully it resolves our issue with the headlights not working. Everything else works, turn signals, running lights, all that other stuff, but the HID ballast just won't engage. Oh, I hate doing that. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. It's so sketchy. All right. Now that I have these headlights powered up and on, I'm really happy with the decision I made to go with these over the Hellcat HID headlights. These are a full LED headlight. There's only one thing I would really want to change about them, and I'm really happy that they look kind of like Durango Hellcat headlights, because I have all of the stuff from my Durango Hellcat in this car, so it really just made sense. The one thing I really want to change on them, I'm probably going to leave it for now, but maybe eventually I'll end up doing these to a switchback LED, because they kind of retain a similar turn signal as the Charger would have. So the Charger turn signal is right here, and the turn signal on these is right here, but it's a full LED headlight, which is really nice. And it looks like it has a really crisp break off line. So I'll have all of the daytime running lights, turn signals, running lights, and I'm also happy that I went with these amber, the smoked amber, and then the smoked red in the rear. It just flows a lot better than the white was, and I'm really happy that I changed these headlights. And since these were aftermarket headlights, I ended up making them fit a lot nicer with the bumper. I didn't want to have to modify the factory headlights because they're like $1,500 or $1,600 a piece. I'll probably just end up selling those, but now these fit perfectly, and that's what I wanted to do with the factory ones. I just was kind of worried about kind of drilling. I had to kind of oval out the holes so I can move this headlight out from where it was before. Now that the headlights and the whole front end's all assembled with the fender liners and these little mud flap splash guard things on the side, let's get to work and get the steering shaft all dialed in on this, so I'll have steering and I don't have to worry about, you know, the last time I had the steering tacked at the dealership, and it had multiple issues, but now we'll be good after this. So there's a wire that changes between the Charger and the Durango on these harnesses. And on the Durango, the wire actually goes back to the BCM, whereas on the Charger, it just grounds to the chassis. So I want it to work correctly. I don't want it to have any codes. And this is a wire for the lock return. So I want the locks to work properly. And I also want the windows to work when I drive the car home, just in case I get pulled over for no apparent reason, because I don't have the tune on it yet. I'm not gonna be ripping it, but it is kind of a crazy looking car, and I want the windows to actually be able to roll up and down so there isn't any crazy things that happen. So let's get this harness off of this regulator panel. I now have the wiring harness off of the regulator panel. I need to de-loom all of this fabric tape, and that's easier said than done because this stuff is kind of a nightmare. And the wire that I need to change is pin 3 right here, this ground, actually needs to come out to this plug, and there's actually one spare pin on the plug, which I'm very happy that this isn't fully pinned out, or I don't know what I'd do. So let's get all of this de-loomed. It'll probably take an hour and a half to unwrap all of this tape off of here. Really easy way to figure all of this stuff out, and most of the time Dodge pins everything out the same. This is for the Durango and this is for the Charger, and we have left rear door latch, and these are the only differences between the harnesses besides being a little bit different themselves. So we have left rear door latch, and as you can see, number 3 pin right here is a ground, and number 3 pin right here, which is this tan brown, is the return to the BCM. So on the Charger, you can see that it just goes directly to ground on the driver's, like by the driver's rear seat. And then on the Durango, it comes and it connects to the driver's front door, and then it goes and continues off to the BCM. So if you have wiring diagrams, it's pretty easy to follow once you get kind of acquainted with how they flow. All these black dots right here are connections between the wires, and then these dashed lines are also connections, but sometimes they'll be dashed if it's not for every model. So if it's only for the Hellcat, or if it's only for a GT or an all-wheel drive, etc. So sometimes you'll have a module that has kind of a dashed line like this, and that's not the whole module. That's not all the wires that go into it. This right here, the solid line, is the whole complete module and all the wires that go into it. So dashed line means it's not complete. Solid line around it means it is complete. So let's get this wire right here modified, and as you can see, it's pin number 3 right there, that ground, and it comes up and it comes into the ground splices right here. So what I'm gonna have to do is separate it and then run a wire up to this pin that's vacant right there. The interior is now looking a lot better. I wish I could get these rear door panels on, but I'm still waiting for the quarter glasses. And I have the rear carpet in, as well as the Challenger center console. This is a piece that goes on the back of the headliner in between the hatch and the hatch trim. And the hatch has the hatch struts on. They work. Everything opens properly. The one thing I am noticing is it seems like these hatch struts have a lot more force. So I'm going to have to, because they're brand new, I'm going to have to realign the hatch from where I had it before. And I think they'll be perfectly fine after that. They might be a little bit longer. I don't know. I got them from Amazon. I don't know. And then I saw a lot of complaints about people having like issues with their stuff not aligning after they put them on, because they're either too strong or they're too long by just like a quarter inch or half an inch or something. So I'll figure that out, and then I'll just use them for now. Everything works, everything closes properly. I have this block of wood just because I was getting in and out of the car. I did notice that this piece of trunk trim right here that I have has these two dents in it. So I think I have another one of those up there. And I need to figure out what I'm going to do about the trim that goes back here. So I don't want to use the original Magnum stuff. It would fit on there, but it's just really bulky. It's heavy plastic. I'd rather do how the Chargers are and just have the kind of same kind of grayish trunk trim, but just have it that kind of, I think it's like a really thin plastic with fabric on it, and just have it cover this, and then have make some trim for the upper part of this. All the factory Magnum trim up here will fit. That piece that I showed you in there goes right here, and I actually need to clip that in. And then the speakers, I need to change those with the Hellcat ones. Those are just some SXT ones that I had in there temporarily. I also need to make a bracket for the extra fuel pump module. So I have two, since the Durango had two dual fuel pumps, I'm still running a dual fuel pump. All of the rear lights work. I have everything loomed. I want to change these to LEDs just because they don't illuminate. Damn, they're fucking hot as shit too. God damn. Yeah, so yeah, they're hot. So but everything's loomed. I want to do LEDs so I don't burn the car down, because those are super hot. And all this stuff looks really good. I have everything done with the factory clips. So it's actually behind here, but it's all held up I have everything done with the factory clips, so it's all nice and held up like it would be from the factory. Everything goes out here. I have everything ran with the bumper harness. All of these parking sensors work. The collision avoidance sensors work. That's a big plus. The only thing I have left to wire in the rear is the hatch. So I wired a plug down there so I can unplug the upper part of the harness, because if you've ever worked on a Hellcat, you know that you have to pull the headliner, or a Magnum, you have to pull the headliner to actually get the hatch harness out, because it comes all the way up here and it clips in, and then you have to feed it out. It's kind of a nightmare. So I put a plug down there, so if I ever need to pull the wiring harness out, I don't have to pull the headliner out to do so. So I think it's going to be really nice. Plus, then everything will work perfectly. I'll have 2 plugs right here, and then I put everything for the sat nav antenna right here, and it goes into the hatch through this grommet. I haven't put the grommets in, but then I'll have it go into the wing. I know a lot of people were not very happy with me doing that. They said that this right here, this coax cable pivoting back and forth over time is going to degrade. They use the same stuff in laptops and it for the wireless antennas, and they never have any issues, and it takes a very long time for them to have issues. Plus, this stuff's already pretty thin and it's never gonna kink. You don't want it to kink, but it should be able to move back and forth like it is right there. So I don't think that'll be an issue. And then I'll just make a wire to come up here into the wing hole, and then I'll have to run the wiring. I have the wire right here for the rear third brake light. I was really on the edge of not doing a third brake light, and I'm going to do my custom wing. I know a lot of people have been asking where it's at. It is coming. I just want to get this thing actually home, driving, so I could have fun with it, and then I could go and do the little details like the wing, do the whole hatch out of the same stuff the roof's made of. So it's a blue carbon Kevlar, and then the blue carbon Kevlar from the roof will extend the rest of the roof of the hatch, and then I'll still have it painted up here, but then this hatch will weigh maybe 20 pounds instead of, I think it weighs like, I don't know how, they're heavy. Magnum hatches are very heavy. So, you know, without these struts, it's definitely a workout to hold this thing up here and adjust it. But yeah, I will think once all this stuff is done, once this is in carbon fiber, it will be a lot nicer because it'll be a lot lighter. Car is now ready to drive home, minus one small detail. She has no wheels and tires. So in the next video, I will be powder coating the wheels, putting brand new tires on them, and then I will wash the car and I will drive her home. I know a lot of people want to see this car clean. So when I get her home, I'll rewash her, then I'll polish the whole car, then I'll wax it, and she will be ready to cruise around town. And I'm super excited that I finally get to drive the car, because I've been working on this so long that it'll just be surreal to finally be able to cruise her around. One thing I'm glad I did was I changed the headlights. So I was on the edge of using these headlights, but I'm really happy I did. They kind of look like Durango Hellcat headlights, so it kind of just really goes with the car. Plus, it looks a lot better than the hoop that normal Chargers have. Plus, it's a full LED headlight, so then I don't have to go in and reprogram the BCM to work with the HIDs, because those HID headlights, the HID ballast was tripping out the BCM and it was showing a fault. The LEDs, these work perfectly fine now, and I'm really happy with how everything looks. And since these are an aftermarket headlight, I pushed them further out, so now there is no gap on the edge of the bumper. I didn't want to do that with the HID headlights because they're like $1,500 a piece, and these were like $600. So everything is now buttoned up in the front. I have the fender wells in here. I also have all these splash trays, and then I left these are like little mud flaps on the side so rocks don't flick all over the side of the car. But I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep these. I'll leave them on for now until I PPF the whole car. And I really like how everything just looks super factory. Another thing, I really am happy with how everything has come out back here. I wanted to put the fender liners in, and the whole bumper is now assembled in the back. We have the wiring harness, everything's wired in the whole back of the car and almost all the front of the car. I still need to repin this connector on the dash harness, and then the whole dash harness will be good to go. But I wanted to do the fender liners, but they sent me narrow body Hellcat fender liners, so I'm waiting a week for those, and that'll be all buttoned up in the rear, and I'll probably put those on after the car's home, because I should have the car home probably early next week, which will be really nice. Still need to figure out what I'm going to do about these quarter glasses. As you can see, I have no quarter glasses, and I sent a template and the original 300C glasses to a company. I believe they're in Michigan or maybe Minnesota. They said that they could do curved glass and then temper it. And then I called them a week later, and then they said they couldn't after I sent everything to them. So then they sent it back. So if anybody knows of a company that can make custom quarter glasses and then temper them, put it in the comments, DM me on Instagram. I want these done. I want this to be complete. I want it to be sealed up. It will look super good. If I can't find any companies that are able to do it, most likely I'm just going to do it out of the blue carbon Kevlar, and then it'll just be carbon Kevlar. It'll still be all black, like, well, this isn't tint. I've been pulling all the tint off because I'm gonna have my friend Nick retint all the windows, including the front windshield, and this tint in the back on these quarter glasses and the rear hatch glass isn't the greatest. So then he'll just go in, redo all the tint, and you would never really notice it unless sun hits it and it looks like carbon fiber or it's a little bit blue. But I really want that to be glass, because in the 300s it's glass, and I think it'll just flow a lot better if it is glass. So I'm going to end the video here. If you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below, share this video with a friend if you think they would like a cool supercharged all-wheel drive Hellcat Magnum. And as always, see you guys next time.